and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back here to the Champions League. Liverpool's reign as the European champions is over after they were decimated at Anfield by Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone's side, they went down, they were behind, but they stood up, stood tall, and Marcos Llorente's double has sent them into the quarterfinals, and Liverpool have been sent packing. We're also going to be talking in today's video about PSG against Borussia Dortmund, with the game being played behind closed doors, but that didn't stop Neymar and Bernat sealing their route to the quarterfinals. It's all coming up. There is so much to discuss on an emphatic night of European action. Let's get to it. But if we do start first and foremost at Anfield, because we hear so much about European nights at Anfield, and Liverpool here were coming into the game 1-0 down on aggregate there without an away goal in this tie. But of course, they believed they're the reigning champions in this tournament, that they could turn it around. And it did take them a while there to break Atletico Madrid down. You knew what they were going to do. Simeone's team there, if I had to pick out a few of those players to mention, I would certainly look there to the heart of defence. I think Felipe has been brilliant all season. I think he's such an underrated centre-back. I think Lodi as well, the left-back, is a very, very good player. And the midfield at Atletico, they're always there in the big moments. Saul, Koke, they certainly gave them that structure today. And even though Atletico did concede 2 on the night, they still did defend incredibly well, because Liverpool did, they really did, for most of the game, throw everything at them. And it was on 43 minutes there that Gini Wijnaldum popped up in a very similar area that he scored actually against Barcelona last season. It was a good run there by Oxlade-Chamberlain, whipped into the area, and it was a downward header there into the ground that just about beat Jan Oblak. And on that subject, we've got to talk about him. He was sensational tonight, Oblak. He made several brilliant saves, and he was the man really, along with Llorente, of course. He was the man that got Atletico into the next round, no doubt about it. But for the rest of the 90 minutes there, Atletico kept Liverpool at bay. I did think inside the stadium tonight, whether it was because of the virus going around, I don't know, maybe it was something else, but it wasn't quite the Anfield that we've come to know in European competition. I thought at times it was quite subdued. Atletico Madrid brought just 3,000 supporters to this game, but still, for much of the game, you could hear them really enjoying this occasion. And it was then, as we moved into added time, when Roberto Firmino, who I thought actually throughout the game wasn't really at his best, and I don't think he has been now for quite a while. It was a good ball in again, Liverpool crossing constantly in this game, putting balls into the area, and it was a ball in there. Again, it's a downward header from Firmino. This time Oblak can't get there. It cannons off the post, but nicely under the path again of Firmino, who could tap it home. And then it just felt as though, yeah, Liverpool, they're going to go through. You know what they're about. You know that under Jurgen Klopp, they've got a fantastic mentality. They've been so strong at home. We all know that Liverpool have the ability to go further in this competition. But no, from that moment, instead of pushing on, instead of really then controlling the game, taking the pace out of it and just relaxing everybody, Liverpool, for me, they completely fell apart, and it all started with Adrian. Now, he's come in, of course, as a replacement for the injured Alisson. He's their backup goalkeeper, who did very well at the start of the season, but since he's come in over the past few weeks, he has looked nervous, and he did again tonight. Atletico really didn't test him enough until the latter stages, but he makes a mistake in his distribution. He plays it out there straight to João Felix, who I thought gave Atletico some much needed energy on the night, and he is struggling here to play in a much more defensive team. But I think João Felix tonight very good in his play. He plays an intelligent ball there to Marcos Llorente, who'd come off the bench, and what a strike. What a goal. Because although Adrian has given that away, he's still got time there to get himself positioned, to get himself lined up. He's still outside the area. He just opens up his body, whips it round. Wonderful goal into the bottom right-hand corner. And suddenly then, Atletico Madrid, they had hope. And at that point, of course, they would be going through on away goals. But naturally, again, you were sat there thinking, that's not going to be enough. Liverpool are going to keep on coming. Mo Salah created a number of chances. Mane too was having many shots on goal. And certainly it did look as though Liverpool were really going to try and put the pressure on. But that's the thing. From the moment that Atletico Madrid scored, it was like an alarm bell went off in their head. They started then to believe that, yeah, we can soak up the pressure, then we can break. They brought Morata on. 1. Marcos Llorente really seemed to get confidence from that goal, which is a real surprise because he hasn't really been in favour this season under Diego Simeone, but he came to life in this game, and it was there in the 105th minute when at the time Atletico were going through on those away goals that Morata moves forward. Liverpool, of course, pushing bodies forward. They're a little bit exposed at the back. Morata there plays it centrally to Marcos Llorente, and then he's got two options. Number one, he can play it safe. He could go out there to the left-hand side, he could play it into the wing, and ultimately Atletico Madrid could waste time. But this, for me, was where Atletico had that belief. He took it straight towards goal, he lined it up again, and he pretty much executed there exactly the same finish. He whips it again into that right-hand corner. Wonderful finish. You could say for sure that Adrian should be doing better. Would Alisson have saved that? We will never know. But obviously you've got to appreciate there. What a strike from Marcos Llorente. What a moment for Atletico Madrid. And then for me, no coming back. No coming back from that. Anfield was completely flat. Liverpool, I think they felt it in themselves like that was the game over. They never really picked themselves up from that moment. And Atletico Madrid was sailing through. And of course there was still time for them to add another goal. It was on the break again. This time it was Morata, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he easily puts it past him. Atletico Madrid on the night, not only going through, but beating Liverpool at Anfield by 3-2 and incredibly eliminating them from the Champions League. And a lot of people will say, oh, you're only doing this video because Barcelona lost to Liverpool last season. But no, I'm actually doing this video here because if you sat down and watched that game tonight, as a neutral, as many of us are, it was an enjoyable game. It was a captivating contest there in the first half. In the second half, there was so much to play for. Atletico Madrid were keeping the game very, very interesting. Liverpool, like I say, were playing very, very well. And then in extra time, that's what football is all about. That's why we all love football, because even though it looked to all the world that Liverpool were going to go and win that game, it looked to everybody like they were going to go and coast to victory. It can change in an instant. One single mistake, Adrian makes that error, and suddenly the whole game, maybe even now, the whole competition is turned on its head. And of course, you've got to go back to the quotes from Liverpool players themselves. You look there at Robertson. After that first leg there, I don't feel as the Liverpool players have helped themselves in these circumstances. After the first leg there, Atletico put in a great performance. They won the game by 1-0. And then he says, after the game, they were celebrating as though they'd won the whole competition. He didn't really understand why they were doing that. But you've got to appreciate here, this is a team who are having a bad season. Atletico Madrid right now are 6th in La Liga. That win against Liverpool, it was their highlight. That was the best thing that had happened to them right throughout the season, and all they were doing was celebrating with their fans. That's what they do. That's what Simeone is all about, that togetherness. And I think again tonight, it gave Atletico the perfect motivation coming to Anfield with a point to prove. And Liverpool know that themselves. They were written off last season against Barcelona, and it came back to bite us all. But this time, they made that exact same mistake. They got players there talking about Atletico, almost doing the team talk for Simeone, and like I say, Liverpool find themselves not clean out of the Champions League. And like I say, guys, elsewhere tonight, there was a big game going on at the Parc des Princes. PSG against Borussia Dortmund. PSG trailing by 2-1 in their round of 16 tie and having to play tonight's game behind closed doors, which again was a very, very strange atmosphere. And the goal came, the decisive goal for me, was from one of those inevitable defensive mistakes from Borussia Dortmund that seem to hamper them every single season, whether they're running in for the title, whether it's in the Champions League. They always seem to make that slip up when it really, really matters. And it's a basic corner kick. It's a really basic error. It's a brilliant ball in from Angel Di Maria. So much whip on it, so much curl there, into the perfect area. But Neymar there is just allowed to run away from Hakimi, get into all that space, and it's a simple there, close range header, which are decisive there on the day for PSG, and they doubled their lead there in that first half. Again, it was Neymar, it was Di Maria who was involved there in the goal, involved in the build-up. They work it out wide to Sarabia, and it's Bernat actually has made such an adventurous run there from his full-back position. He goes beyond Edinson Cavani, and he gets a really clever touch there on the end of Sarabia's cross, and that was pretty much it. Dortmund simply didn't bring that firepower that we saw from them in the first leg, from Haaland, from Sancho. It didn't really happen on the night, and they find themselves there out of the Champions League. And PSG, even though Mbappe tonight started from the bench, they get through courtesy of another vital Neymar goal. Their Champions League dream continues, and of course, much like Atletico Madrid, nobody will want to face them in the quarters. And so that there, guys, is the very latest on the Champions League. Two absolutely huge games took place tonight, and I've got to say, two big turnarounds. PSG coming back against Dortmund. That's what their project needed with Neymar, with Mbappe. They need to be progressing in these kind of games. And of course, at Anfield, it was a disaster for Liverpool as the reigning champions exit at the round of 16 stage. That was unexpected. Simeone did his homework. And believe me, Atletico Madrid, they got the job done. Please leave all your thoughts in the comments down below on everything you felt about the games tonight. What are you expecting from the rounds to come? I will see you soon with plenty more videos. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.